playing some musical cars. This is the one we're working on today. I gotta get the G56 out, pull it. It sounds to me like it's a bearing noise, but hopefully it's something stupid in the clutch, but it really doesn't sound like it. Oh goodness, it's cold in here. And I think yesterday I had the AC on in it. Let the grid heater go. It's kind of nippy out. It's about 46. There we go. Fires up all right. Ah. I really wonder if that comes up on camera. Like, I understand that this knot isn't on, but that shouldn't affect it. There's still the rubber boot that bounced to the ground. I'll push the clutch in. Oh, goodness. That noise will give you a headache, so I'm not going to be sitting in here too long. We're just enough to pull it into the shop. See, now that I'm moving with the clutch all the way in, it's still making the noise. If I stop, no noise. All right, so you guys saw in the last video that we are going to be working on building up the mechanic side of the business, because the logistics side is not doing great. It's not doing great at all. But the mechanic side is doing great. So with this thing, since we're pulling a transmission, I know I don't have the proper tool for it today. I did just order, I overnighted a transmission jack, because we've just been doing so many transmissions that, you know, it just makes sense that we finally get one, you know? We've gotten a lot of transmissions this year. I've done a lot of them. I don't think there's any excuses anymore. Now that we're not financially set back on anything, let's start investing in the business, I guess. Let's start doing more and more. So I definitely need to get some things to set the trucks on. At some point, since I'm just leasing the shop here, we're going to be doing the work over here as opposed to using the lift. I'll save that for him. But yeah, this works in general. So I got a floor transmission jack coming. At some point, we're going to wait until about January. Now, anything can change, so just keep that in mind. Come January, we're going to see where we're at financially. If we can be sitting on about, I don't even want to say how much cash I'll be sitting on in January, because I don't want to do that. But I don't have the credit. So we have a business partner that we're going to be working with. He's got credit, I've got cash, and we're going to be going from there. We got a website and all that shit going up here shortly. So that starts on November 1st. So we'll be working on, they start working on that November 1st, so it should be up sometime next month or the month after. We'll see. Until in January, we're going to be leasing here and just going off of where we're at. Like, this is where our location is going to be at, but as soon as we find a better location, we are going to be moving and getting a shop, because at this point, I don't see Hotshot getting better. I don't see it getting better anytime soon, and that's the unfortunate fact of it. Like, Hotshot is the reason that I finally accomplished my goal of getting as debt-free as possible. I don't have anything else to worry about. I'm not financially held back anymore, minus the no credit thing. But I am almost debt-free. So as of August of next year, I am debt-free. We made the payment arrangements to get all that taken care of. I'm paying like $1,100, $1,200 a month. And then next year, we'll probably register a secondary. As opposed to having the logistics side, we'll also register for the trucking side. For like working on diesel trucks and shit, and we'll see how that goes. So you guys can come along with this journey and see how we do it. This year, not the greatest year. I mean, it's my record year financially. Last year was a financial record year. The year before that was not, but we're slowly getting there. But you get the point. As jobs come in, I'll start investing in the tools and the proper stuff to do stuff like the transmission jack. Like I said, I just overnighted one. That'll be at my house tomorrow, so we can. We're gonna get this transmission out today. I'm not gonna get it back in today because I think there is some internal transmission issues. So I will do my best, get it dropped. It is a 2-wheel drive truck, so it should be super easy to get this thing out. All we got to do, take the rear drive shaft, take that out. And then you guys will see here she is, big old aluminum. Hopefully it's, man, this drive shaft is like a mile long. Let me show you guys that. Thing's like a mile long down this truck. With the transfer case, usually they come out to like right about here. Not on these. Not on these. So we'll see what this vibration and this noise is. But it is not sounding too great. But like every gear is making noise, so really don't know until we get it out, and we'll assess it. We'll see how the clutch is, see how all that stuff is, make sure that there's no other leaks. It looks like there could be some leaks somewhere in there, so we'll check that out when we get into it. This thing had a pretty gnarly valve cover leak, so if we can diagnose any other leaks, I'm gonna slowly be watching this thing, because I did drive it in last night, but it looks like, see, there's already something right there. So, dripping right off the bottom. But it's old oil, it looks like, because it was black when it came out. I just put some fresh stuff in it. I do believe that we had a pinion leak. You guys can see right there. But I don't know if that's actually a pinion leak or if it's just all the oil that was flying from up there to back there. So we'll wait to diagnose that until we get the transmission and all that stuff back in. Let's get this thing pulled out and I'll show you guys what it's like afterwards. All right, so for one, the boot's ripped to all hell. I got the other boot out, all that stuff. So I'm gonna pull the shifter off itself. And then after that, we can start working underneath of the truck. You can see the original color of the truck here. Get all that out next. I gotta figure out what these bolts are gonna be, and then we'll get them out real quick. All right, so we got her out. I don't see anything obvious yet, but I really haven't. There's some gears in there. I'm looking for some metal pieces. I start seeing metal and shit, or broken gears, but it looks all right through the phone. I'll give her a good look without looking through a lens here in a little bit, but hard to tell. I don't see any metal pieces, which is a good sign. For shits and giggles, decided to start it. There's our noise. Really just sounds, let me get that closed. Sounds like a lot of fluid sloshing around in there, which is normal, but I can kind of hear, what he's talking about a little bit more, but obviously that doesn't, that doesn't say definitely what it is or what it isn't yet. We'll have to get this thing pulled out, check the clutch, check. That's what'll be spinning initially, and then obviously the transmission's in neutral. So the front shafts, they're spinning. But see, the thing is that I was concerned about is the second this truck starts to roll, whether the clutch is in, clutch is out, or it's in neutral, it starts making the noise. It doesn't matter if you're doing a mile an hour, like clutch in, half a mile an hour, it's making noises. All right, fast forward a little bit. We got the drive shaft out. She brought me my tools. So I needed the 15 for the drive shaft and the 14s to get all these bolts out. Now there was only 7 of them in the transmission, so the top right up there was not in. So this clutch has definitely been out before. The shitty part about the G56 is what I'm realizing is that you can't see the clutch like at the bottom, so it's hard to tell what's actually in there without pulling this thing. But the transmission is unlatched. Everything is disconnected. The sensor up there, this guy here. So all I need to do is unbolt it from there, pull that out of the way, and then I ordered a transmission jack. It won't be here till tomorrow, but I want to get this out now. So we should have this out in like the next 20 minutes. I'm going to get the cross member dropped and pull this thing out, and I'll show you what we find on the inside. So we got the trans out, and this little clippy thing's not in here. This thing's, it's quiet, but it still has some resistance to it. Not a big deal. So I thought that this was going to be a dual disc clutch, and it is not. So it's making dual disc clutch noises without it actually being a dual disc. That thing's loud. So yeah, I'm going to get this thing pulled. We'll check it out, see how the clutch is. We're already here this far. We might as well. It looks like there's a lot of oil leaking from like down below. So get that pulled out, and somebody was in here recently. Like I was saying, there's no clip. I forgot to put that in, unless that decided to go missing. There's the fluid that came out. It seems all right, but a little dark. So I don't have the bits to get these drain plugs out. All right, here's where we're at. A little bit of a rear main leak. You guys will see These things are hard to get to seal up, but like all the stuff in here, you can see all that chocolate pudding going on. So besides that, I'm not seeing anything too obvious. The clutch isn't in bad shape at all. Definitely needs a bearing. You can kind of feel it's a little crunchy. It spins freely, but I don't know if you guys will hear that. It's a little crunchy on the inside. This thing is absolutely enormous and heavy. I'd rather be doing a dual disc one. They seem like they're a lot lighter, but there you go. Let me know if you guys see anything I miss, but there you go. So all the crud coming out of there, but I guess we'll call it what we call it. We got to check out the inside of the transmission, make sure everything's good, because I think we're having some bearing noise over anything. It's definitely not a dual disc at this point. This is a single disc, so it shouldn't be making those noises. All right, so obviously we're not transmission experts and don't claim to be, so I want to see what your guys' knowledge is on these, how these guys sound to you. I know what my new venture sounds like, but do we have any bearings that are bad in here? That's the question. Now, we could always pop this case apart, but unfortunately, I don't know how much I trust it, because I don't have the tools to get some of this stuff, which I might just go buy them. But we'll have to get an expert in here to pull this apart and see if there's anything going on internally. We'll get the rest of the fluid drained on Monday and see if there's anything flaky coming out, but we'll go from there. Now, this one we're going to get in today. We're going to be working on getting a new venture in this one as well. The G56 here is probably going to be for sale with the drive shaft. And then he has another four-wheel drive NV5600 that's going to be for sale probably at some point. So if anybody needs any of those, just let me know. The new venture will be a four-wheel drive. We're going to start, we got the LEDs that Anthony had in his truck. We're going to be popping those in. We need to pop some reverse lights in this thing. And I did go and buy a trans jack mount. So now we finally have one of these. I think it's in here. And then we got insulation for the underside of the trans tunnel, so we're going to do that for him as well. Even though this transmission's noisy, the new venture that I have, that transmission was perfect. There was no noise at all. So coupling the fact that my trans makes no noise with the sound deadening, this thing's going to be super, super quiet. All right, so we're getting the LEDs swapped out. You guys will notice there. So all of these work. I'm going to get these things, they only seem to like to go in one way. There we go. So, I'm going to take each one of these, and I'll pop them in. Boom! They're all in. Now, why are these so special? Just the cab lights, they're black. This one's black. Oh, look how much nicer that looks. Now they're blacked out as opposed to being the standard color. I threw them all back here. So now we're not looking at this. So that's the old ones. We have new, all of the cluster lights are going to be blue. Anthony sent over the link for these, so you can see this is the one right here that they're going to be. And then these are all for the instrument cluster. So I got to pull the whole instrument cluster. I don't know what this is. Oh, the third brake. Ooh. Forgot about this. So you guys, he also went and got beautiful a third brake light. The same one that I got on my truck. So we're going to be able to plug this in. It has better LEDs. You guys will see how that one back there. So it not perfect match, but it's a pretty good light in my opinion. I ran these, this, and then I had a center tailgate light, which this one does not have. But we're going to switch this thing out real quick, and I'll show you the before. Here's the before. So I'll show you the LEDs afterwards. There you go. Check it out. Let's grab you an after shot. It's the LEDs. Now in theory they're brighter. From the side they're definitely not going to look as bright, but it's where the halogens are a little different. So there you go. That matches way better than the red. All that's taken care of. We got to put reverse lights in here. And then the whole back section's done. And then I think he said he had reverse lights in here. I'm not sure. I'll have to look. So the reason we're doing the small stuff now as opposed to, hey, why don't we put the transit and all that? And next thing, once I get these done, this, that, all the bullshit, then I'll start insulating the tunnel. I'm just waiting on parts right now. Waiting on him to show up. I want to show him a couple of things. It looks like the oil drain bolt is actually leaking. And it looked like we had a rear pinion leak. So before we put a drive shaft up in, I want to show him that stuff, what's going on. But while we're waiting on the parts and the verification that we're putting an NV in this, which most likely we are, I'll probably end up pulling the trans tomorrow on the dually. And then we'll bring it in here with the Dakota, pop a trans in here. This will be good to go. We're hoping to get this thing done by Friday because we're supposed to be doing some airbags. We got a tuner coming. We got to figure out the exhaust. I think he wants to do a 5-inch exhaust on this thing. So, a lot of money going into this truck right here. Like, I'm telling you, like, if it's all said and done, a lot of money is going into this truck. And I think he said something about selling it down the road. I'll let you guys know if he ends up deciding to do that. But this thing has 377 on it. But this is a really, really clean truck. Like I said, the reason we're doing that, we're just waiting on parts, so, and verification. So we'll get all the little bullshit done this morning, waiting on him to show up. He should be here probably in about an hour. So we should be able to get this stuff done in that time frame. But here is the before. Let me turn this off. And the LEDs. These don't even work. So let's get those installed. All right, so we got everything pretty much torn apart at this point, but you guys can see we do have LEDs down there. Now we just need to work on getting these here replaced. And when I did Anthony's, so only one bulb you guys saw up here, only this one bulb worked initially. So I went and put all the LEDs in, and then the only bulb that worked when I put the LEDs in was this one. So I had to go through every one of them. Funny enough, like, I don't know if that's a sign to play the lottery or to stay away from the lottery. But like I was saying, I put all new LEDs in it, and the only one that worked was the one that worked before. So I don't know if that was really lucky or just really unlucky. So I went through, switched all the polarities. Now these, I got the one right on the first try. You're never going to get them, well, I mean, if you get them all right on the first try, I guess it's possible, but the chances are pretty low. I mean, with this one, it's probably easier. I got one right, and then you just have to flip the polarity of the other two. With this one, you have, I don't know, 20 of these little bastards in there. So I'm going to get this pulled out, and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Now you guys can see all these little screws here. See this back one? There's a piece that goes over that. You guys, you want to take this out. I know you don't have to do this, but I prefer to take this whole thing off because then you can get these LEDs a lot easier. Now, this is not for the faint of heart. Do not do this unless you know what you're doing. Because getting this in and out, you're going to have LEDs that aren't going to work in here. There's, I don't know, there's probably, what, 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11 of them. So the chances of you getting every one of these to work is slim to none. So I like to plug this thing in separate from everything because of just how much of a pain in the ass it is to actually plug the whole thing in, see which LEDs work, see which ones don't. So you're going to want to see an illumination from each one of these little guys here. So I'm going to get these all pulled, which I think these were a 1/4 inch or a flathead. So I'm going to get these swapped out quick. Now you got to be really careful doing this, right? You do not want to snap off any of the little nubs or break this guy off here. So we're going through seeing which LEDs work and which ones don't. Right off the bat, I can see that this one is not illuminated, so I'm going to switch him 180 degrees I'm using a 1/4 inch socket because that's the best way to do this. If you're using a flathead screwdriver, they tend to strip out very easily. So I'm going to swap these around and I'll show you what we got. All right, we've gone through, there was about 4 of them. So you'll see, they all work now, except maybe the bottom right. I'm going to check that one out next. And make sure. Yeah, it looks like it works. I'm going to verify those two real quick, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so now I got the front base plate clean, just to make sure that nothing was going on the inside. Now we're going to put the back piece on, screw everything back in, and then pop our little square, whatever the little square thing on the back does, pop that on too. Alright, this is how it's going to look. That comes off way bluer. There you go. You can dim it. There you go. Comes off way bluer on camera. It's not that. There you go. Let's change. There we go. That's kind of more what it looks like. I like it. Oh, the gauges. Let me try something here. Let's turn the gauges on. So if we match these, the grid heater's loud as shit. There we go. Everything should match. Really is the best time to do this. I've got this stuff here. I just cut the floor out. You guys will see. And then what I did, let's see under here. You guys will see it's all up underneath of there, all the way up to there, and all the way back. So we got that insulated. So yeah, obviously the noise isn't going to be an issue when we get rid of this thing, because the G56 is apparently a loud transmission. This will be, I got the adapter plate and everything, so everything will just be a physically bolt up. I got the drive shaft, all that stuff. So that will work out. All right, we got the adapter plate out. Got the starter hanging up there somewhere. So all that stuff's done and ready to go. This thing is officially ready to receive the swap. I am just waiting on him to get here. And then I might end up going out today. I gotta grab the Dakota because I ain't gonna be pulling all these tools around with the bike. So that should be fun. Realistically, I'd love to tow the truck here to get the stuff out, but I don't have the time or I'll just pull everything out while it's out there. So I'll pack all this stuff up, take it out to the yard, grab the transmission, bring it back here tomorrow. Should be able to get the transmission out at a bare minimum by tomorrow. So we'll just see what the time allows us to do. All right, we got our confirmation, so we're going to head out. I need to go and grab the Dakota so I can grab all of the tools, and then we will head out to the yard today, and then we'll get the transmission pulled 100% tomorrow. So we have 3 clutches here. We need to decide which one we're going to use. We have the one out of my truck as well. So we'll see which one we're going to use and then go from there. So I'm going to take the bike, go grab my stuff, and then we'll go get a trans pulled. So if anybody needs a G56, he does have paperwork and receipts showing that this thing was rebuilt. So if you want it, let me know. Make offers on it. All right, so thanks to you guys, the video yesterday, I got to pull the trans out of this thing, and I also got to pull the engine. I sold the engine for $1,000. I sold the trans for $3,000. So all that stuff needs to come out if anybody wants anything else. And the reason the engine I think is worth $1,000 is because the pump, the injectors, and all that stuff is still good. The head's still good. Like, all of that stuff's still good, minus maybe the block's bad. Who knows? But there you go. So there's that. I got $4,000 out of it so far. I need to sell the rear end yet. And I do want to pull the dash because the dash is still good. So I'm going to take the PCM, the dash, and that'll be about it. So I have some plans for the body. You guys, I told you guys you had till Monday night, and you did not disappoint. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do now is I'm going to get all that stuff. I'm going to try to get the trans pulled, half pulled today, since the only thing that's holding it in place is, I wonder if the e-brake works. I wonder how well the e-brake is working. Hopefully well. And then I'm also going to take not only the e-brake, but I'm going to take a chain and wrap it around there just so that it doesn't fall. This is going to go with the black truck as well, but I do need this chain so that way I don't get crushed. All right, we got the clutch, or we got the shifter out. So I'm gonna stuff a rag in there, and it is in neutral, so we're gonna go, apparently the e-brake works very well on this thing. We're gonna go ahead and get under the truck now, and start working on getting the drive shaft down. I did put a chain back here. It's really nice today. I put a chain back here, so I might as well take advantage of the beautiful weather. So it looks like we got a couple 19 mil bolts, and we'll get those off. Drive shaft is out. I'll clean it up when we get back, get all the oil and shit off of it. This is a custom drive shaft. I can't remember the name. There's a sticker somewhere. I think it's on the bottom, but they custom made that from, I like to say, here up. So all new U-joints, carrier bearing. I'm not sure what all they used. Oh, yeah, there it is. Universal drive shaft. So they built that for me so that I could get out of Florida. So there's that. Now I just need to pull the transmission, which should realistically, it shouldn't be all that bad getting it out. You know, I went and got ratchet straps. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slowly work its way out, and then I'm gonna drop the straps so that it's on the ground. Then I gotta somehow find a way to get it back here. So I'll probably end up going and getting Liam first, and then I'll come back and get all this stuff, but that's pretty much it. I said, if anybody wants the dash, let me know. This is a clean, pristine, I'm smacking this with my wedding rings, pristine dash. Nothing wrong with it. If not, it's getting crushed. Don't care. We're making good time on this transmission removal. There's the cross member, and the transmission's still in, and I don't even have a jack. Look at that. So we got the ratchet strap up there. The logic behind the straps is they're pulling backwards. So I'm gonna get this thing pulled and then slowly release up on the straps. This is gonna be fun. All right, so I forgot about one bolt. It's right there in the top. It wasn't all the way in. So after that, this thing's coming down. I gotta go get Liam quick, so I'll be right back. I keep almost smacking my head off of that thing. All right, so I got the last bolt out. Fastest transmission pull I've ever seen. And it went from in to out like nothing. So yeah, this is where it landed. So I'm gonna get this thing dropped. You guys will see ratchet straps. That's how you do it. I'm gonna start doing that from now on, honestly. That was pretty sick. I got the last bolt and it went from here to here instantly, but softly. This is where we're at so far. One strap up there to bring the bag up, one strap there, and then I'm trying to figure out how I can get this a little higher to plop in the bed, but I gotta do this all myself and I don't have my crane on me. This would have been a perfect time to have the crane, and I don't have it. So we've kind of switched game plans. We're picking it up right here and we're gonna throw it in here. Never mind the dent in the truck. But yeah, that's gonna go in here, and somehow we're gonna keep lifting it up because I only have 3 straps, so we need to make this work. All right, trans is loaded up. Throw a rag in here, keep some water out. We're gonna replace the fluids, just a little bit of dent, so it'll be all right. Liam, figure since Liam's here, then where'd the hammer go? I was so excited to leave and I forgot that we left the clutch and the adapter plate here. So now I'm gonna pull back around and get the impact and get all that stuff off. It's not one thing, it's another. I finally got everything. Finally. So funny enough, this thing doesn't have a rear main leak, but since we already did the other side, I'm not gonna do too much, but I'm gonna let Liam have, let's say, 2 throws and 1 big smack. I don't care what panel, as long as it's not glass. I don't care, go ahead. This thing's getting scrapped hopefully this or next weekend. All right, that was 1 hit, now you get 2 throws. Just the bed, that's all you wanted to go for? One more good one, good throw. There you go. I mean, it didn't really leave a dent.
Here, you try.
No. People will think it's staged if I try. I don't know, but yeah, so like I said, appreciate you guys for the last video. But yeah, like I said, so now I just need to pull the engine. I'll probably do that this weekend. The new venture, this is going to its new home. We got 4-wheel drive, one of these, a full 4-wheel drive NV5600 for sale from this guy here. He needs to sell. Go ahead, you can do it again, I don't give a shit. But make sure it's throws, not smacks. So, and that's a pretty heavy hammer. But he also has a G56 2-wheel drive with the drive shaft. And yeah, so figure, all right, one more and then you're done. Why the bed? Come on, pick a panel that matters, like maybe a fender, a door, just no glass. And just throw it randomly. There you go. They didn't even leave a dent. Yeah, didn't really leave a dent. I don't know. It's not a big deal. I guess it did. It scratched a little. Whatever. You know. So, like I was saying, hope you guys stick around. Appreciate you guys enjoying. I know a lot of you guys are gonna stick around because a lot of the guys that stick around are the ones that want to see you fail, and I never understood that shit. You know, I preach positivity. I try to uplift people, bring people up. We're just having a good time. He's having fun. Kids are taken care of. And I ain't got time to sit around and wish somebody else's business would fail. So if you guys have anything, feel free to send me a message down, centralpalogistics@gmail.com. Instagram down there. My mud flap link, referral link is down in the description. And that's going to be that. So like I said, we'll have a good video for you guys on this in due time. If you guys have any yards, lots, anything, heavy equipment, let me know. And if you want to contribute to making this thing not exist anymore, just let me know. As long as you have land, you're near Carlisle, I'll tow it, whatever. I got a camper as well. I want to take this and kind of drop it on a camper, and if we could run it over, crush it, catch it, set it on fire, all that shit. Just let me know if you guys can make that possible. Anybody near the Carlisle area, like I said, appreciate you guys. See you in the next one. Later.